Okay, welcome to the Pipeline and People podcast powered by Versorix, the show where boutique firm leaders trade less admin for more advisory. Each week, we share actionable tactics to keep your client pipeline full and your team performing at its best. I'm your host, Jaden Parisi. Let's dive in. Today's guest is Dennis Rhomays, co-founder and CEO of NEDZO, a voice AI company redefining lead handling and conversion for agencies. Dennis, welcome. Could you kick us off with a quick look at your background and how you got started with NEDZO?
Yeah, Jaden, thank you so much for having me. Absolutely. So NEDZO, I would say that the first version of NEDZO, or why we started it, was because my first business was a call center. So like Wolf of Wall Street style, everything was a chaos, everything that you can think about a bad ran business. But we learned some good lessons. And once AI came along, I think around the end of 2022, and AI became mainstream with ChatGPT and everything, the thought was, oh, it's just a matter of time until voice applications become a real thing. And since one of the lessons that I learned is that, especially in the call center or contact center industry, it's more about a recruiting business than it is a sales business, because you spend more time recruiting than selling. I thought that this is perfect. So we started very early building and playing around with 7-second delays between responses. And then as tech evolved, we also managed to keep growing and keep improving things one thing at a time.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So, you mentioned the call center. I saw that you have a background with agency growth, like through Alpha Trend. Are there any lessons from that journey that shaped how you think about AI now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that running an agency definitely gave me a good perspective as to, one, how important voice communication is for service-based businesses, because it's all about communication. Of course, coming from the agency background and also the contact center, I come from more of a sales side than, for example, a customer support. So that's why the first few applications that we built out was really to, one, solve appointment setting, then call transfer, and then we started thinking about, so we can actually expand this into other departments and other things. But yeah, 100%. I think that the agency space is hyper competitive. It's also difficult to find good talent to book appointments, SDRs, BDRs, the whole thing. So yeah, 100%.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so I want to set the stage. What's NEDZO doing differently when it comes to lead qualification and conversion that you weren't seeing in the market? Like, what makes NEDZO unique?
So first thing that came to my mind, even though I would say I'm pretty technical, or I feel comfortable around technical processes. I always thought about it like, whenever I build my first product-based business, which ended up being NEDZO, I want to take it the Apple approach, meaning that I might not be able to be the first, but if we can't be the first, we can be the best. And sometimes being the best is all about less being more. So what makes us unique really is helping agencies build AI voice agents literally in minutes. We take all the difficult and stupid questions out of the way, which is, what should be the temperature, or what is the intensity of the voice, or all these different 300 layers of buttons and sliders and everything. We've removed all of that. We made those decisions prior so that our users don't have to. So they have a very straightforward canvas where they can just go in, focus on what they want. Hey, I want an appointment setter. Boom, boom, 3 clicks. Prompt is pre-built. They don't want to write it. Okay, we have a co-pilot that will talk to them and write it for them and launch. And as someone as myself, like I ran an agency and still do, service delivery is hard, especially good service delivery.
Yeah.
So sometimes building a system like this, like let's say a custom agent for business, can take you like literally a couple of weeks. Patching, testing, all that stuff. So with NEDZO, we've seen a lot of agencies, that's our main ICP. They come to us and literally like 15, 20 minutes, they have a new client onboarded, ready to go.
Wow, that's quite impressive. How's traction been on that so far? I know it's relatively new.
We've been growing super rapidly, actually quicker than I thought. And I would say right now, our main battle is really about competing against all the other alternatives that are funded. We are self-funded or bootstrapped. So it's our own money. So we don't have like a couple millions to back up our decisions. All money is from previous businesses. So, but with that said, currently the only bottleneck is really us being able to keep up with demand, really. Like we are overbooked, usually at least 5, 6 days in advance. Our users are screaming for, "Hey, I need this, I need that, I want more, I want more." And that's an amazing feeling, especially when we have our live office hours. We see users gather around the software product just to like almost like on a community vibe. And that means a lot to us. So it's been a pretty amazing journey so far, and I don't see it slowing down.
That's awesome. Is that bottleneck like a people issue? You don't have enough people to run things, or is the process slowing things down?
100%. It's definitely a people thing right now. You can say that, yeah, it's definitely a people thing. Money and people are definitely related. You need capital to employ people, especially good developers, good customer success managers, good sales reps, everything. But I'd say definitely on the development side, now we are ramping up production. We are pushing out our engine, our V2 engine. We are hiring pretty much every single month.
Wow.
So, and then the whole training and everything takes time, especially when you are a small team. Of course, once you have all the management layer, everything becomes a little bit easier. But right now, we're still wearing a couple caps each.
Awesome. It's cool to see that growth. Um, so I want to kind of dive into some trends now, maybe that you're seeing, as the founder of an AI company. AI is absolutely everywhere right now. I feel like it's all that anyone's talking about, and there's just so many tools out there in the market. Like a lot of them kind of feel like duct tape, though. Where are you seeing founders maybe miss the mark with what they're building?
I would say that most of the times I see people focusing too much or putting too much attention towards features or tools when the real power of AI is in the data that it actually carries. That's why large language models, it's all about how many data points were they trained on, right? And what people don't realize sometimes, or some founders, is that even if you have something simple, just the usage patterns that you get from, for example, Canva removing a background with AI, understanding like what users in which plans, how often, all of this now can be very easily digested by an AI model that can give you more predictive insights into the future. And not taking advantage of that is like sitting on top of a gold mine and really doing nothing about it. So I would say that one is, of course, this one. The second one is the shiny object syndrome. A lot of people, especially in the online space, we're more familiar with, just hop from one trend to the other, to the other, to the other, and perhaps don't give it enough time for something to actually flourish. And sometimes just sticking to one thing is really the best decision of them all. So I would say those are the biggest two misconceptions or caveats I would say some founders see themselves in.
Yeah, and how have you kind of mitigated those things?
So first thing is I've been in business for some years now. A couple of the lessons that I learned is you can do whatever you want, but you can't do everything at once. So whether you like it or not, like you're only one. So I can't clone myself as much as I would like that to be a reality. It isn't. So for that reason, I need to fully focus on one thing and one thing at a time. And by giving it my full attention, I'm able to grow. Secondly is consistency. It's not about like keep reinventing the wheel. It's about like doing one thing for so long that it's absolutely impossible for you not to see results, right? So I would say definitely experience from making these mistakes too many times fast. And secondly, also having a clear vision. I think always having a North Star helps you to keep in check. Like if you don't have like a vision that it's so big that can like fill a stadium full of people in it, and you wake up in the morning and you're like, what am I going to do today? That is an issue. So it's when you define it and you know and you see it very clearly what a big goal that you have, and of course you keep moving the post as you go, that makes life easier and helps you avoiding like I think Alex Rhomays said it like avoiding the woman of the red dress, because
Yeah.
it trust me, it will become prettier and prettier and prettier, and it's important to keep yourself in check.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so you mentioned that, features, people are focusing too much on features versus real client pain. And having that North Star is absolutely important, but it is also equally as important to be able to pivot and, change directions. Do you put a lot of emphasis on client feedback or like user feedback when you're deciding where to take NEDZO and what updates to make?
Yes and no. Yes, from a prioritization perspective, meaning that
Okay.
if first of all, we try always to listen more to, of course, our ideal customer profile than someone else that isn't. And they might want something else out of the product, but it wasn't built with them in mind in the first place. Of course,
Yeah.
it can work for them. And by listening very closely to our ideal customer profile, we understand from all this huge list of things that we need to build, which ones are the ones that we need to push first. No, from a perspective of sometimes people don't know what they want yet. Or I would rather say they think they know what they want, but they don't know what they need. And it's just because we are in the business of building a product that will serve and solve some specific pain points like streamlining communication altogether. While you might want something today, because in today's reality, it might make sense, probably in 6 months from now, it can be irrelevant. So we need to always build thinking about how it will look like in a scenario, let's say 6, 12 months from now, rather than like in today's environment.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree. That being said, what is your vision for NEDZO for 6 to 12 months from now?
6 to 12. So for 6 to 12, from a product perspective, we want to build autonomous AI voice agents that are pretty much not only capable of course, conducting full conversations, but always, I call it always aware, meaning like having human-like memory, where if I interacted with you, let's say 6 months ago, and we have a call, whether it's because of support, because of sales, something else, I remember every single detail, and I can piggyback on that to help move the conversation forward, build rapport, and give you an amazing experience. And of course, agent with the agentic word in it is the agent must be able to perform multiple tasks, not only booking appointments and call transfers, right? That's already a very easy reality today, but more like just like an agent on a call center or an SDR would be able to write notes, send emails, would be able to update the sales manager or the customer success manager, would be able to schedule a follow-up and actually follow up. So there are so many things that an agent should be able to do, and that's the vision. We want to accomplish that in the next 6 to 12 months.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds quite innovative.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
How do you ensure that, your own team isn't chasing shiny objects?
It's all about having a very strong company culture, right? Sometimes, so I would say that just like you need to have this true North Star for the company and the product, you need the same for the team. Because if the team doesn't see themselves involved in or excited about the project, and if they are not clear on what they need to do next, yes, they will pursue the next shiny object. But if the mission is clear, if they feel good and excited about pushing boundaries, and if our mission statements align between, of course, executives and the rest of the team, then as long as those are in alignment, everything will just flow like water. So having a very strong company culture is super important. And so far, I would say that I'm pretty stoked and happy about the amazing team, the small, mean team that we have on the back end and front end and everything.
How many people is your team now?
6.
Yeah, I've been talking to quite a few firms that actually specialize in, culture and organizational development, and it's been very insightful to have those conversations and see what, having a good culture can do for your firm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, let's see. We're gonna do a quick rapid fire round here. I have a few quick questions, just whatever's on the top of your head. Sound good?
Yeah. Bring it on.
All right. What is the biggest myth in the AI space right now?
It's capable of doing everything perfectly fine, perfectly at the first attempt.
And what's the reality?
AI can be more intelligent than humans, but just like humans needs training. And it takes a lot of trial and error, and we need to be aware of like just like a human would fail sometimes or drop the ball here and there, the AI can also drop the ball here and there at least at the current state.
What's one action agency leaders can take this week to improve conversion?
That's easy. Sign up for NEDZO.
Of course. Okay, what is the best lesson from Alpha Trend or your call center that still applies today?
Own it. Speed is king and never settle.
What do you mean by own it?
It's like, I realized that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter like whose fault it is. Everyone will make a mistake here and there. I do it more than probably I should. But the reality is, it's not about like whose fault is it when something happens. It's more about like, what have we done to make sure that everything is cleaned up? So we cleaned up the mess. And secondly, what have we put in place to ensure that it never happens again? So that way we don't need to try to get someone responsible for that. That person will know and will own it, and will own it by not by apologizing, because words are meaningless in certain circumstances, because the damage is done. It's all about the actions. So own it.
Awesome. Makes sense. Okay, finally, just want to know, what is the best piece of advice that you've ever been given?
Definitely less is more. And this is the first time that I heard this was from a producer back in the days when I used to be a musician. I had hair like that. I was trying to do something like over the top. He used to be a guitar player and kind of producer too. And he started to ripping my song apart and said like, he kind of removed everything from the song, just kept the main melody, the main lead voice, a synth, and the drums, and then slowly added guitar here and a bass line there. I was like, shoot, this sounds better. He just looked back at me and said, that's the thing, less is more. And that really stuck with me, because like I took to that studio session 7 songs and I ended up with half a song. But yeah, it was pretty harsh reality check. But since then, I really think about it. Whenever I'm trying to complicate or overcomplicate something, I always think there must be, if it's too complicated, it's because it's too complicated. There's no need for it.
Okay, makes sense. Dennis, thank you so much for joining the call today and pulling back the curtain. Where can people learn more about NEDZO or try out the voice AI for themselves?
Yeah, so definitely you can head over to nedzo.ai, NEDZO.ai. Click on the mic button, have a conversation with our AI web agents. Check it out. Or also you can check us out on YouTube. We have some videos coming out very frequently.
Awesome. If this episode sparked ideas, share it. Tag Dennis with your thoughts. Until next time, I'm Jaden Parisi. This is the Pipeline and People Podcast.